2025 is almost over. As we move into the new year, we like to set ourselves goals to reach sometime during the next 365 days or so. I thought, what if Thomas characters had New Year's resolutions of their own? There's only one way to find out, and that's to start drawing. Now what I could do is actually study the characters' personalities and goals and figure out a New Year's resolution for each engine based on that, but I have a better idea. I present to you a random adjective generator and a random noun generator. With this we can get some wacky results. The first verb I got was bury, and the first noun I got was baseballs. So in the new year, Thomas will bury some baseballs. I decided to create a scene where Thomas is coupled to a tipper wagon and is dropping a series of baseballs into a large hole in the ground. Jack, who is always willing to help out a friend in need, has done Thomas a solid and dug the hole out for him. This is my first time drawing Jack for one of these videos, so I hope I've done a decent job. I suppose the real question would be, why is Thomas trying to get rid of so many baseballs? Baseball isn't really much of a thing in the UK. Over here we have cricket, which is a much older game, and school kids are more likely to be playing rounders, which confusingly was originally called baseball with a hyphen. Maybe an American company tried to convince the Sodor public that baseball was a sport worth caring about over there, and launched a big marketing campaign to get the sport noticed. This is quite a common thing I've noticed recently with various American franchises and traditions, presumably done so that big global corporations can sell people the same product in different countries. Evidently, however, the people of Sodor were not swayed by this company's marketing tactics, and baseball never caught on. Eventually, the big corporation admitted defeat and decided to bury all their old stock to prevent it from taking up valuable space, either in warehouses or store shelves. They paid the Northwestern Railway to carry out this process, and Thomas said, "Well, it's my New Year's resolution to bury some baseballs, so I'd like to do it." And the rest is history. And so, here is the finished drawing. The next two words the random generator gave me were generate and cyclone. So, James's New Year's resolution will be to generate a cyclone. Whereas Thomas's resolution was somewhat believable, James's one is definitely delving into what in the blithering hell is going on territory. James's resolution is apparently to create a massive natural disaster, presumably just for the sheer heck of it. "It'll be funny," he said. And so, there are people, fences, sheds and even poor old Percy being caught and thrown about by a swirling vortex of terror. James isn't too worried about it though, and seems to be adding to the mess he's created by having streaks of lightning coming out of his irises. And speaking of irises, let's talk about the new Thomas toys that are releasing next year. Honestly, I think a lot of people are overreacting and calling them the worst Thomas toys ever. To be frank, I think in terms of the general shape, these look fine. Well, aside from motorised James, that just looks janky as all arseholes. But motorised Thomas and Percy are perhaps the most proportional motorised toys of these characters we've had since, well, probably departing now. I also like how Gordon is significantly larger than the small engines and has leading and trailing wheels. The diecast engines look pretty good as well. They've all got their correct wheel arrangements, and I like how it seems as though we're actually going to have running boards wider than the gauge of the wheels for the first time since what, 2018? That's got to count for something. The changes in couplings and track system are things I'm not quite so big on. However, I think Mattel have executed these ideas more poorly in the past. Obviously that's not an excuse, but I think the coupling change is a bit more justified now. There's no longer a wooden Thomas range, but if the diecast range has the same coupling and track gauge as regular wooden trains, then you've got full compatibility. Presumably the motorised range is switching to magnetic couplings just to retain compatibility with the diecast stuff. But it also looks a bit like the new motorised toys have a higher clearance than the older releases, so maybe they'll be compatible with wooden track too. Probably not, but I guess we won't know until we find out more. At any rate, the magnetic couplings on these new toys look better than the last few years of Take and Play. Presumably they're the same coupling design, but as the new toys are a larger scale, the couplings aren't half the engine's heights anymore. As for the track, yes, there's the problem of backwards compatibility, or lack thereof. I still think this is a redesign for the sake of a redesign, but on the other hand, the only thing you're losing compatibility with is older Mattel produced toys, which weren't selling anyway. When Mattel attempted to change the track system for Thomas Wood, it was going against a standard that was being used by a multitude of different companies, and had been around since at least the 1950s, if not earlier. But now it's time to address the elephant in the room, the engine's faces. This is one thing that I can agree with everyone else on. These look awful, almost uncanny valley in their appearance. It's strange that Mattel would go for this sort of look for the faces, when one of the big normie talking points regarding the Thomas franchise is the idea of the faces being creepy. All Engines Go, for all of its faults, seemed like it was trying to address that issue by simplifying the faces, so I'm not sure why they decided to go full on reverse for the upcoming reboot. My hope is that the faces will look better in the show itself, and they just didn't translate well to physical models, but I don't want to get my hopes too high. When more information comes out about the reboot, I might make a video on how I would personally reboot Thomas and Friends, so let me know if you'd like to see that. But with that said and done, here is the completed image. Finally, it's time for Henry's New Year's resolution. He will be throwing a cone. Well, I say throwing, but I'm not sure if Henry can throw things. The eagle-eyed among you might already be aware of the fact that Henry doesn't have any arms, so the best he can do is punt a cone with his buffers. For no particular reason, I decided to set this illustration at the edge of a harbour wharf. I hope Henry has good brakes. Now that we know the New Year's resolutions for various Thomas characters, I thought I might as well talk about my own New Year's resolutions, as well as the future of this channel. In the new year, I'm hoping to start treating my YouTube videos more like a job, because whether I like it or not, this is a job. It's my main source of income and the thing that takes up most of my time. Starting early next year, I'm hoping to start properly scheduling my work week, so I know to dedicate so many hours to drawing, script writing, voiceover and editing. This should hopefully mean a return to consistent Monday uploads in the not too distant future. I'm also hoping to find ways to expand the channel fairly soon. I spoke with my work coach about the possibility of setting up a Patreon, where I can feature bonus content such as extra videos, custom brushes, and maybe even Blender files for my Matchbox videos and the like. Maybe it will even allow me to create larger scale projects in the future, such as audio stories with a full set of illustrations, or I could even start making trains models again. Another thing I've been considering is live streams. Most likely these wouldn't involve me drawing, since I'm not sure how easy it would be to live stream off of an Android tablet. I was thinking playing games live, train related ones of course. I like the idea of having a fairly relaxed live stream where I build a route in Trains, or Train Simulator Classic, or Rolling Line, and get to speak to my viewers and answer questions as I route build. Let me know if such a thing would interest you. And with that, here is the finished illustration. And there we are, Thomas, James and Henry partaking in some rather random New Year's resolutions. I think the drawings themselves took a bit of a back seat for this video. It was much more about discussing the new Thomas toys and what direction my channel should take in the new year. I might make more videos like this, where I discuss a topic relevant to Thomas, trains or something similar, if it's something that people would want to see. Let me know your thoughts on, well, my thoughts. Be sure to subscribe if you're interested, and I'll see you very soon.